Heli Direct!
Hello everyone, my name is Mikel Graham and I am here representing Heli Direct, and today we're going to be talking about main blades. Now the obvious question here is, what is the best main blade and what blade should you be flying on your helicopter? Well, the truth is, it depends. It depends on your flying style and it depends on your equipment. What may be a great blade for you might be a terrible blade for someone else, and vice versa. Now, when we're choosing blades, there are some differences that dictate how a blade performs in the air. These differences include size, weight, CG, airfoil, and tip design. Now, when we're choosing our blades though, we can really only choose the brand and the size. The brand dictates pretty much all the other variables. Now, general rule of thumb though, when choosing blades of the same brand within the same class, a smaller blade will have a better cyclic response than a larger blade, but will sacrifice a little bit on collective response. A larger blade will have better collective response and better auto rotation performance, but will sacrifice cyclic response. Now I want to mention a little bit about Flybar versus Flyless blades. Yes, every helicopter coming out is Flybarless, but that does not mean you can't run Flybar blades on them. Flybar blades are more aggressive than our Flybarless blades. The reason being is that they had to overcome the additional inertia and drag of the rotor head. Now, if you do put on a set of Flybar blades on your Flybarless helicopter, you're going to have to change the gains of your Flybarless system, and your servos might get worked a little bit harder because, as I mentioned, they are a bit more aggressive. I would be remiss if I did not mention Funky. Funky produces many of the popular brands of blades today. Of the 7 brands you see here, Funky produces or produced 6 of them. One thing I also like about Funky blades is that all of their blades have a safety wire that goes from the root to the tip of the blades. This is such that when you crash and break these blades, they will not break apart. The other thing I really appreciate about brands made by Funky is that from set to set, the blades are very, very consistent. Should you use different size blades on Nitro versus electric? Well, it depends. In general, Nitro helicopters are 10 to 20% lighter than electric, but electric helicopters have significantly more power. Personally, I prefer smaller blades on my Nitro helicopters. Why? Because they're already light, and the larger blade makes them feel lighter, but the larger blade also requires more power, and a Nitro engine only produces so much. With electric, where I have power on tap, I like to use a really large blade. The electric helicopter is already heavy, but it has the power to push through. So with the larger blade, I get that light feeling, and I'm not really sacrificing too much of performance because I have enough power to push through the additional drag. So how do you determine what is the best blade for you? What are you looking for and how do you test it? Well, for me, there are 5 things that I'm looking for. The first thing I'm looking for is the tracking. When I go into fast forward flight, how does the helicopter behave? Do I have to hold some pressure to keep it to stay on that line? Or can I let it go and it's going to follow that line perfectly? The next thing I'm looking for is cyclic performance. When I give a cyclic input, is it fast off center? Does it speed up immediately, or is it kind of sluggish off center before it actually gets up to speed? And finally, when I give full cyclic, what's the cyclic rate? Is it faster or slower than other blades? Third thing I'm looking for is collective response. So when I'm in a hover and I slam the collective, how fast does it begin to climb? Does it immediately bite the air, or does it kind of mush a little bit? Same thing, if I'm coming down and I slam that collective, is it going to stop immediately, or is it going to sink before the blades finally bite? These are things I'm looking for. Next thing is auto rotation performance. If I lose head speed during an auto, how easy is it for me to get that head speed back? And when I'm at the very bottom, how much hang time do I have before the blades lose airspeed and lose head speed and the helicopter settles down? And finally, how much power are the blades drawing? In any of these maneuvers that I mentioned before, is the helicopter bogging? Can I tell that the helicopter's drawing more power than usual. Maybe my transmitter is telling me, hey, things are getting hotter, or I'm putting more milliamps back into the battery pack. These are all things to let you know how much power a blade is drawing in a given flight. Now, I just want to add a few tidbits of information as you begin testing different blades and determining the best blade for you. As you test new blades, you may need to change your Flyless settings. Now, ideally, you would like to just be able to change the blades and just do a one-to-one comparison and keep all variables the same. But unfortunately, this is not a fair comparison. Why? Because your Flyless system is tuned to get maximum performance out of your old set of blades. That same tune may not work very well on the new set of blades. Because of this, you need to take the time to tune your Flyless system to the new set of blades. This is the only way you're going to be able to get maximum performance out of the new set of blades in order to make a true comparison to your old set. Additionally, your servos and power system are going to play a role in the performance of these blades. Some blades are a little bit more aggressive than others, and that additional aggressiveness puts more strain on the servos. So therefore, those servos are going to have to be higher performance, higher quality in order to get maximum performance out of the blades. Additionally, some blades are just power hungry. They may be the best performing in every other category, but they need that additional power in order to show you that performance. So unless your power system is able to deliver that additional power, you're not going to be able to see what that blade truly has to offer. And finally, within the same brand, there is no guarantee that two blades of different classes are going to fly the same. There's no guarantee that a 550 blade is going to fly like a 700 blade, even though they're the same brand. Now, why is this the case? Well, there's a lot of things at play here. Most obvious, you're in a different helicopter. Different helicopter means different geometry, different available power, different servos, different head speeds, different Reynolds numbers, and different gyro settings. All of these things play a role in how a helicopter and set of blades will fly. And so keep that in mind, where you may find that you may like a set of blades on a 700 size helicopter, but that same set you may absolutely hate on a 500 size helicopter. So what's the best blade? Well, I hope you realize by now that depends entirely on you. So take the time to figure out what blade works for you, your helicopters, and your flying style. When you're ready to try out different blades, check out Heli Direct, who has a wide selection of blades to choose from. Thanks for watching, and have fun and be safe.
Heli Direct!